Here's a demonstration of how to use the René to create a simple melodic sequence with the make noise system. This will work with the System 2, Shared System, CCC, and any system containing a Maths, DPO, René, and Optomix. We'll start by monitoring the Channel 1 output of the Optomix. We'll patch a sine wave from the DPO to the Channel 1 signal input and turn up the control knob. We can control the frequency of our sine wave with the gray frequency knob and the amplitude or volume with the control knob. Note that the FM bus is turned all the way down. This keeps our sine wave pure instead of being modulated by the other side of the DPO. The René sequencer is specially designed to send traditional musical note values in the form of control voltage from its quantized CV output. The DPO's 1 volt per octave inputs are designed to accept these values and translate them into notes. Let's patch the QCV to the 1 volt per octave input. On the René, each touch plate corresponds to a knob, and each knob corresponds to a note. As we turn up the selected knob, we hear the pitch rising in semitones. The Q page lets us choose which notes will and won't be selected, basically allowing us to create a custom scale. The touch plates are labeled with the notes associated. So for example, to quantize to a major scale, we disable all the black key notes and only leave C, D, E, F, G, A, B. These note values are relative and assume that the oscillator is tuned to a C before a QCV is applied to it. If it's tuned to a different note, for example E, then we would hear an E major scale instead. You can hear that the frequency knob itself shifts all the values up and down equally. René can be played manually via touch plate, but can also step through the location sequentially via its clock inputs. The end of cycle gate from Maths to the Y clock input, and it sequences vertically, or the X clock input horizontally. However, with the X clock input, we can also engage snake mode on the X fun or Y fun page. And it will use a single clock input to step through all 16 locations. So now we have a 16-step sequence and we can set all note values via the knobs. We can also momentarily lock the sequence to whatever plates we are touching. Hold down a couple touch plates and press Program 2 and it'll latch. One thing we haven't accomplished yet is getting this series of tones to sound like individual notes with beginning and endings. The key to that is in the Optomix. Obviously we can control the volume of the oscillator with the control knob, but we need to have it turn up and down consistently with each new note. To that end, let's take the unity output of the same Maths channel we're using for our clock and patch it to the control input. This will turn the channel up and back down again for each step of the sequence. In other words, using this Maths channel as an amplitude envelope. We can use the rise, fall, and response controls to change the length and shape of this envelope, and since it is also the master clock, the sequence will stay in time with its cycling. The René is very open-ended, so there are many ways to add variety to this sequence. For right now, we'll just show the access page. This lets you turn individual steps on and off. So for example, we could make this 16-step sequence into an 8 or 12-step sequence on the fly. If we go to the X-Fun page and enable sleep mode, the sequence will not jump locations until it finds one that it's allowed to access. In practice, this means the sequence will always be 16 steps, even if fewer locations are enabled. Stay tuned for more Make Noise system tutorials.